Hello everyone, and welcome to Katharine's Creatures. This is episode 51, and this is a series where we get to touch base about various mythological beast beings and the like, pulled from lore worldwide. And I always like to preface by saying that I am not a linguist, so if I mispronounce anything along the way, I apologize in advance. I try my best, but I know errors can occur. I also want to say that I'm dealing with a cold, so I'm not looking my best today. But with that said, let's get to the point. And this week's creature feature is actually going to be on Krampus, because as I am releasing it, it's seasonally appropriate. But Krampus is this horned anthropomorphic entity or figure, and he stems from Central to Eastern Alpine folklore in Europe. Expands his lore, is believed or known in various countries throughout Eastern and again Central Europe. Now, during the Advent season, kind of in and around the holiday season, this is the time when Krampus becomes, or the idea of him, the creature of him, is spoken a lot about because he's potentially on his way to make his visit. And that's not always, it's not really a great thing. In the more Christianized lore, and what's probably better known, is that he assists Saint Nicholas, also aka Santa Claus, and will visit children along with Saint Nick on the night of December 5th. Not Christmas Day, surprisingly, December 5th, and we'll get to the reason why. The good children are rewarded with modest gifts by Saint Nick / Santa in the forms of oranges, dried fruit, chocolate, walnuts, again, these like modest gifts from back in the day. Meanwhile, if you were naughty, you weren't going to get a coal in your stocking. You were actually going to get visited by Krampus, and one of the most traditional things he would deliver is some switching with a birch rod. Not so much fun. Now, Krampus actually stems from some potential pre-Christian origins dating back to the 6th and 7th century. The name Krampus potentially either came from the Bavarian word for Krampen, which means dead or rotten, or the Germanic or German word Kramp or Krampen, which is claw, because Krampus's appearance, though he varies many ways, is not a very pleasant one. He's typically described as either being black or brown flesh, cloven hooves, horns of a goat, has this big lolling tongue that kind of sticks out, and fangs that are usually exposed. And he's depicted, again, more often than not, holding something in his hands. This could be in the form of, again, those birch rods for punishment's sake, but other times he's depicted with things like chains. And the chains in the Christian versions of his lore are actually symbolic of the concept of the Christian church binding the devil. And so he will take the chains and shake them very vigorously. Sometimes there are bells on it, so he makes a big clatter and noise when he's approaching or around. Now, again, punishments that Krampus bestows upon children vary, I guess, also from country, region, and probably severity of how evil the children have been this year. With that said, you can get switched with a birch rod or a whip. He sometimes will carry a sack, or is depicted holding a sack, and this is not because he's carrying gifts like Santa Claus. Instead, this sack is for him to stuff in the children and tote the most evil of them away to either be drowned, or he eats them, or he just brings them, deposits them straight to hell. Lovely, isn't that? So, December 5th, which is known as Krampus Night, is a night when both the two figures, Saint Nick and Krampus, will come to visit, obviously very terrifying for children. On the next day, December 6th, is the Feast of St. Nicholas, and for those who have survived Krampus Night, can now celebrate and enjoy the rest of the Advent season. Happy holidays! So with that said, if you have any questions about this lore or anything else, post them in the comments below, or just reach out to me on my social media, and I'll be happy to talk to you further or create a follow-up video about whatever you have to talk about. With that said, I hope you have a wonderful holiday season, and until next time, Skål.